I'm trying to keep a bit quiet because it's quite late at night, but I had to share this. I haven't even opened it yet. I have just bought a Canon SX70 HS. It has been nearly 9 years since I bought the SX40, and I kind of just really wanted to get a new camera, and I figured I'd seen a lot of people asking about it, so I thought I'd share my unboxing. So I'm going to take a minute to move the camera around and then you'll see. Okay, so hopefully you'll be able to see this on the camera I've got here. I'm going to open it up. I will give you all the details. So I bought this from photospecialist.co.uk, who are actually based in the Netherlands, I believe. It did say next day delivery, but it came the day after. But I was willing to wait because it was quite a bit cheaper than buying from other places. It worked out as, it was in euros, so it was 488 euros in total, but I ordered an extra UV filter for the front, so it was 469 euros for the camera itself, and then I added another 19 for the UV filter. It worked out at about £423, which was a really good deal, so I was really chuffed with that. So let's open. This is complex. Just details of what's in there. There it is! So there's the filter there. So it's a Polaroid 67mm filter. I just got that so I could protect the lens straight away. Oh, it's heavy. So excited. Excuse my hands, by the way. I have been painting and I just realised all this stuff. So let's have a look. So on the front it's detailing some information. So it's got a 65 times zoom. I think the SX40 was a 45 times zoom, but if I'm wrong I will correct myself here. 20.3 megapixels, 4K film. It has RAW finally, so we don't need to hack the camera just to get RAW images. So let's have a look. Oh, I do need to register it actually. That was one of the things, the reason I bought from photospecialist.co.uk is because they do a 5-year guarantee, so you can't really sniff at that. So there were places that came in kind of, you know, £20 or so cheaper, but then I figured I'd rather spend an extra £20 and have a 5-year warranty than not have one at all. So that's why I went with them. Well, one of the reasons. Everyone's favourite thing. Nobody likes the manual. This is why we end up watching videos. So I imagine I will probably spend a bit of time looking through this in order to make some videos. So we've got a European charger. Well, an adapter for the charger for the European socket. Strap. I'll get it open in a second. Battery. I will order a spare at some point, unless it's the same as the old one, but it doesn't look it. Charger. best bit. Oh. There it is. Oh, it's nice. And one of the questions that was being asked about the SX40, does the SX70 have a mic port? Yes. I really love my SX40, but I took it out to take some pictures the other day. I did get some really good pictures, but I felt like perhaps the quality wasn't as high as it could be. My phone is starting to take slightly better quality images, but the SX40 had a far superior zoom to my phone for obvious reason. So I figured it's probably a good time to get an upgrade. So this is my new baby. It feels quite nice actually. I saw a couple of people moaning about it being feeling flimsy, but it doesn't feel flimsy to me at all. So having a look at the, looking at the lens here. Hey, that's probably the cleanest it's ever gonna look. So I do think I'm going to need to get a lens adapter in order to put the filter on. I wasn't sure if that might be the case. I will let you know at the end of this video if that is the case. So you can see inside the bottom there. So space for the battery and the memory card. It just takes a normal SD card. And on the side we've got connections for a remote shutter, a USB and an HDMI. So those are the connections there. So attachment for the strap here. Settings on the top. So we've got the same settings as we had on the SX40, so custom 1 and 2, manual, aperture value, time value and program. There are also these others down here. That looks like a panorama, that second one. Scene, sports, I'm not sure what this one is, and film. It does have a wireless function as well. So that was my unboxing for my new SX70. I'm going to do a video tomorrow with my stepdaughter, and I'm going to film it with the SX70 so that you can see the quality of the film. So when I post that, I will pop a link on this video so you'll be able to go straight through and check out the quality of that video. But I will do some videos showing details about the film functions on this camera as well, so you'll be able to see more details about those on my channel. I'm going to take some time to get my head around this camera, and then I'll be able to run you through all the bits and bobs. I think I'm a bit wonky. So yeah, thank you for watching. I know it's been an incredibly long time since I've made videos. So it turns out I forgot to open the other bits. So just taking a quick look. So there's the charger there. It does look pretty much the same as the last one. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Battery here. Again, it looks very much like the last one, so I'm kind of hoping that maybe I might already have a spare. Canon lens strap, camera strap with the Powershot and the Canon, the upside down Canon. So one last thing I did notice was that it didn't come with a cable for the PC, which is actually really annoying because like my laptop's quite new and it still doesn't have a memory card slot in it. So I don't know how I'm going to get my footage off without an adapter or ordering a cable. So that's kind of annoying. So if that's going to be a problem for you and you do order the camera, it may be worth getting a cable as well. I'll find out which cable it needs and I'll pop a link below so that if you do want to order and you need to know which cable it is, then I'll be able to show you that. So I have also noticed that this was the only power supply that came with it. So it's a European power supply. So I'm going to need to get an adapter. That's also another thing. So I'm starting to think that, I don't know if it's because I bought it from a company that's based in the Netherlands. Maybe that's why I've ended up with this, but we'll see. So I'm going to need to get an adapter anyway. So I will let you know where I get an adapter from if I don't already have one. And again, I'll link below if you do need to get one. Then you'll be able to click through from here. Okay. I think that's all the things that I need to take note of. I'll be back if not. So I'm back. I was ill for a couple of weeks, so whilst it did delay me uploading my original video, it did allow me to have a little bit of time to play with the camera, which is good. The biggest thing that I noticed that I really like was the fact that I could take sports mode style shots. Now the sports mode itself is no better than it was on the SX40. I personally don't find it that impressive, but there is a drive mode, so like a burst shot style thing that you can put on most of the settings, which allows you to take multiple shots in a short space of time, and that was brilliant. I got some really good shots which I'll put on now. So I kind of feel like really it's a waste of a setting having the sports mode. I'll give it another try. Obviously I'm going to go through each of the settings on their own anyway. But personally I feel like the burst mode on the camera, it does the job. You can get some really good high-speed photos. Another good setting it had was the panoramic setting. I know a lot of people aren't too fussed on panoramas, you can stitch them in Photoshop and stuff, but for those who don't have Photoshop, or for those who just want to have a panoramic option, this one is really good. I quite often find that when cameras do panoramas, you can see the stitch lines, or you can see that the scenery is a little bit wonky, or the better ones, there's still like blobs of weird exposure. You'd have like a light exposure right next to a dark one. Whereas on this one, I couldn't really see a fault in it at all. It was really well done. So I was really pleased about that because we've got some lovely scenery around here, so I managed to get some really good shots. Video mode, I did do a video, as I said earlier, with my stepdaughter, and we've posted that recently, so you can have a look at that. I'll link it below. Now, I don't personally feel like that reflects the quality of the video as much as it could do. Something tells me that it could be better. So I'm going to refrain from making any conclusions on the video front just yet. I want to have a bit more time to play with that. Video is probably the one thing I don't take that much. I really do prefer photography, so I will look into the video, but it will take a little bit more playing around with really for me to make sure that we know for definite that the video is or isn't a good quality. I mean, the video I took with my stepdaughter, we are in a fairly low lit environment. It's not dark by any means, but it is a lower light. We did it at night time, so you know, we take that into consideration. I did try and get some shots of the moon. It does a really good job, but I don't believe it does a job that's any better than the SX40. I was expecting some sort of difference between the two of them, but I really don't think there is that much difference. I'll pop a picture from each camera side by side and you'll be able to see. But in general, I think if you've already got an SX40, there are a few improvements. And for me personally, having that burst mode is massive because I like to take more action shots. Linking back to the previous part of this video, I did need to get an adapter to get my footage off of the camera. I was going to get a cable, but I figured if I got a card reader, I've got it here actually. So it's just like a USB with a card slot on it. So this one does SD and micro SD. So if I ever need to get stuff off my phone, I'll be able to use that as well. And I just kind of figured rather than get a cable just for the one camera, I'll get a reader that I can use in multiple situations. So that was why I ended up getting that. The adapter for the filter, so I could use a 67mm filter, however I did need an adapter. But from my recollection, I think you're going to need an adapter either way. So the size of the filter It's up to you what you go for if you're going to use a filter. I then didn't have a lens cap that was 67mm. so even though I did get quite a good deal on the camera, I've probably spent another £30–40 on stuff that I didn't have, like the card reader, the filter adapter and a lens cap. But it's not the end of the world. But it's just a heads up really, if you do get the camera, you may find that you will need these extra bits. As I said before, it might just be because I bought it from a European country, but either way you're going to need a filter adapter if you want to use filters. The one that I got, I will link it below. It is actually listed for an SX40, so if you already have an SX40 or a previous version of this camera, you'll most likely be able to use the filter adapter you've already got. In fact, it didn't have the SX70 listed as one of the cameras you can use it with, but I took a risk and it worked out, so you can use it. I think that's everything. So I'm going to go through all the different settings, same way that I did with the SX40 really. So if anyone is interested, then you'll be able to see how the camera works, and maybe if you are still deciding whether to upgrade from your previous version, you may see something in there that helps you make up your mind on that front. So thanks for watching, and I will be back soon.